into Gabby Williams, got hit in the forehead, and it caused 2 black eyes. And you can still see some of the remnants of them, and now she's sporting the bloody lip. She is as tough as they come.
Look, tough.
Lexie Hall walked into the game against the Chicago Sky with 2 black eyes and left with a busted lip, and still managed to drop one of the toughest performances of her career. But what she revealed after the game, that's what's got every fan buzzing right now. Their dominance of Chicago despite adversity tells you why Indiana isn't just sneaking into these playoffs. They're rewriting their identity right in front of us. You think that's impressive? Wait until you hear what Lexie Hull said afterward. It might just become the defining quote of the Fever's playoff push. Comment fired up for the Fever if you're fired up with the win. Let's go. How do you win when your superstar is sidelined and half your lineup is taped together? That was the question hanging over Indiana the moment Caitlin Clark announced that her season was finished. She went public just days before the end of the regular season, saying in her own words, "I had hoped to share a better update, but I will not be returning to play this season." Clark had been dealing with a stubborn groin injury since the middle of July, an injury that never responded the way either she or the team wanted. For weeks, fans held on to the possibility of her return. When the announcement dropped, the hope fell flat, and Indiana's entire playoff chase had to be rewritten on the fly. Caleb Clark released a statement saying this: "I had hoped to share a better update, but I will not be returning to play this season. I spend hours in the gym every day with the singular goal of getting back out there. Disappointed isn't a big enough word to describe how I am feeling. I want to thank everyone who had my back through all the uncertainty. This has been incredibly frustrating, but even in the bad, there is good. The way the fans continue to show up for me, and for the Fever, brought me so much joy and important perspective. I am so proud of how this team has only gotten stronger through adversity this year. Now it's time to close out the season and claim our spot in the playoffs." It wasn't just Clark. The Fever have been called snake-bitten all year, and the injury list only reinforced it. Sophie Cunningham was out for the season. Sydney Carlson down with a torn ACL. Chloe BBY's name couldn't be erased from the injury report, dealing with her own knee issues, and Ari McDonald also out for a broken foot. That's an entire rotation lost. Imagine preparing for the final push of the regular season with your franchise player, your enforcer, your backup point guard, a key forward, and a veteran presence gone at the same time. Instead of building chemistry, the coaching staff had to play musical chairs with lineups every single game. The end of the day, she's been working her butt off to be able to get back, and we've kind of run out of time. To be able to do it in a safe way, in a safe manner. And you know, I think we've all been very open and upfront with her long-term health and wellness is the most important thing. And you know, to be in a position that you need to be in to play at this time of the year, we just ran out of time to get her there." Head coach Stephanie White didn't hide her frustration. She admitted openly, "It's frustrating all the injuries that she's had," referring to Clark's battles this summer. White explained that the groin issue simply ran out of calendar. "We ran out of time to be able to do it in a safe way, in a safe manner," she said, making it clear that Clark's long-term health was more important than risking a rushed return. General Manager Amber Cox echoed that, reminding everyone the focus had to be on preserving Clark's career, not winning a single late-season game. That decision gutted Indiana's depth chart. You take away Clark's and McDonald's playmaking, Cunningham's toughness, Carlson's veteran minutes, and BB's range, and you suddenly have a roster with no room for slippage. Every possession felt heavier. Every substitution was magnified. And yet on the sidelines, Clark never looked like a player checked out of the season. She cheered every basket. She rose up off the bench to give high fives. Even when she sat, the TV cameras found her. Eyes sharp, voice cutting through the huddle, staying engaged from start to finish. For fans in Indiana, her leadership was still electric even when her shoes never touched the floor. Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating number one, just all the injuries that she's had. Obviously, I wouldn't speak for her, but and the amount of work that she's put in to position herself to be able to play and then to, you know, have to ultimately make this decision. There's disappointment. There's the obvious frustration that's come with not being healthy really for an entire season. But ultimately, you know, I think the big picture is the most important thing, and those are conversations that we've continued to have. you know. And the message has continued to be that you know, it's not her long-term health and wellness, and her being 100% when she's ready to go is the most important thing. That presence mattered because the playoff picture was brutal. Coming into the week, the Fever clung to 8th place, barely ahead of the Los Angeles Sparks. One stumble, and they risked sliding out altogether. Survivability became the theme. Could this short-handed roster hang on long enough to secure another postseason berth? Could they find ways to compensate for their missing superstar without losing confidence in themselves? It felt less like a basketball problem and more like a test of will. With that uncertainty swirling, the build-up to the Chicago game became its own kind of pressure cooker. Nothing resembled glamour. It was about toughness, execution, and the ability to respond to the situation. And for Indiana, that crucible turned into their launching pad. The very spark that led to their explosive response against the Chicago Sky. If a newcomer in Bree Hall plays tonight, Boston on a kick out. Mitchell. Oh, she's hot to start. Music. Mitchell finds Dantas who rolls and lays it in. What does 97-7 mean when you read deeper into it? It means much more than a box score. On paper, it looks like an ordinary 20-point win. But if you follow what's been happening between these two teams, you know the story is a whole lot bigger. Indiana didn't just beat Chicago. They swept them 5 straight times this season by an average of 24 points each game. That's complete control bordering on humiliation for Chicago. And it's one of those rare cases where a matchup exposes just how far apart two franchises really are right now. You might think a team with that level of dominance would be cruising comfortably through the standings. Not Indiana. Coming into this game, the Fever were sitting on the edge of the playoff bracket in 8th place, only a single game ahead of the Los Angeles Sparks. That's how fragile it was. One loss in this spot, and they'd slip into dangerous territory with the pressure mounting game by game. Instead, they flipped the script, taking all that uncertainty and using it to fuel their most commanding performance at the exact moment they needed it.